A cordial greeting. Today is Wednesday, October 22, 2025. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia. At the time of recording this video, it is 6:15 a.m. local time in the Greater Antilles, where we continue to closely monitor Tropical Storm Melissa. During the early morning hours, a Hurricane Hunter aircraft investigated the circulation of Tropical Storm Melissa and found that the center of circulation had relocated to the northeast of its original position. This was caused by wind shear and dry air that have been affecting the system over the past 24 to 36 hours. While this wind shear has prevented the storm from strengthening, keeping maximum sustained winds at 50 miles per hour, we must closely watch what happens over the next 48 to 72 hours, as the low-level center of circulation is becoming better aligned with the mid-level circulation. This could allow the cyclone to begin strengthening as it moves northwestward. As you'll see in this video, there is a great deal of uncertainty, which has also been noted by the National Hurricane Center. Today we have two scenarios, one track farther east that could represent the worst-case scenario for Haiti and eastern Cuba, and another farther west that could eventually pose a threat to Jamaica and eastern Cuba. In fact, the Western Caribbean scenario represents a risk that this cyclone could strengthen into a powerful Category 4 or Category 5 hurricane. Therefore, residents of Jamaica are urged to begin preparations. Regardless of its future track, very rainy days are expected for Haiti and the Dominican Republic, with flooding and large-scale landslides likely. Let's look at the latest track projections. One scenario shows the system moving quite far west, an increasingly likely outcome, while the other shows a slightly more eastern track between Jamaica and Haiti. Global model projections also reflect these two possible scenarios. The westernmost scenario represents the greatest risk for Jamaica, as it would move the cyclone into an area extremely favorable for rapid intensification. In this image, note the blue line representing the American model, which as of last night showed a path toward Haiti and the Dominican Republic. However, in the most recent run, which we'll discuss shortly, it has shifted much farther west, aligning with the other models. The National Hurricane Center also notes high uncertainty in the storm's future intensity. Some models show a Category 4 or Category 5 hurricane in about 6 days, while others keep it at Category 2 or Category 3 strength. Once again, this depends on its track. A farther west path could allow strengthening to Category 4 or 5, while a more eastern one could limit it to Category 2 or 3. Based on this, the National Hurricane Center has adjusted its forecast track farther west. They now anticipate that the center will move just south of Jamaica in about 5 days and strengthen into a Category 2 hurricane by the weekend, with maximum sustained winds near 105 miles per hour. The forecast cone of uncertainty includes Haiti, Cuba, and Jamaica. For this reason, a hurricane watch remains in effect for Haiti and a tropical storm watch for Jamaica, which will likely soon be upgraded to a hurricane watch. Since Tropical Storm Melissa formed, the National Hurricane Center's forecast track has been gradually shifting westward because the disturbance has been moving farther west than expected, and clearly, the risk for Jamaica continues to increase. One major concern is that if the center moves south of Jamaica, it could encounter exceptionally favorable conditions for rapid strengthening. For example, models project that in about 7 to 8 days, wind shear across the region will be extremely low, represented by the blue colors in this image. Unfortunately, sea surface temperatures around Jamaica are between 30 and 31 degrees Celsius, 86 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit, and this combination could allow Melissa to become a powerful hurricane. Let's look at some of the specialized intensity model projections. For instance, one model shows a Category 3 hurricane north of Jamaica in about 5 days, while another, tracking south of Jamaica, shows a Category 5 hurricane with a minimum central pressure of 913 MB in 5 days. Another specialized model shows a 901 MB pressure, a dangerous Category 5 hurricane, and incredibly, another model indicates a pressure of 888 MB in about 5 days as it moves south of Jamaica, potentially representing one of the most intense hurricanes in Atlantic history. Now let's examine the latest global model projections to analyze different scenarios and their potential impacts on the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, and Cuba. The European model maintains a track toward the southeast and south of Jamaica, which would allow the system to strengthen into a Category 3 or 4 hurricane early next week, passing over Jamaica, Cuba, and the Bahamas. Under this scenario, projected wind gusts indicate tropical storm and hurricane force winds affecting Jamaica from Saturday through Wednesday, with some gusts exceeding 250 km per hour, 155 miles per hour. Tropical storm force winds would remain away from the Dominican Republic and Haiti, although rainfall totals of 200 to 300 millimeters, 8 to 12 in, are still expected for southern and eastern portions of those countries. Jamaica, meanwhile, could receive over 400 millimeters, 16 in, of rain during the next 7 days, leading to dangerous flooding and landslides across the island. The American model's latest run shows a track much farther west than yesterday, but it still suggests the system could pass over Haiti, bringing the worst impacts to the Dominican Republic and Haiti this weekend and early next week. Under this scenario, which then moves the system north of Puerto Rico, a significant rainfall event would also affect Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. However, this currently appears to be the less likely outcome. If that less likely scenario were to occur, tropical storm and hurricane-force winds could affect Haiti and the Dominican Republic this weekend and early next week, and reach parts of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands by Tuesday or Wednesday. It would also produce the worst rainfall totals for the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Puerto Rico, as the latest American model run projects over 1,000 millimeters of rain across those areas within 7 days. This would likely cause catastrophic flooding, with outer rain bands bringing an additional 6 to 8 inches to southern and eastern Puerto Rico. Meanwhile, the German model shows an intermediate solution between the European and American models, tracking across southwestern Haiti and then near eastern Cuba as a Category 2 hurricane. Under this scenario, hurricane-force winds would affect eastern Cuba and western Haiti, with gusts exceeding 200 km per hour, 125 miles per hour, staying east of Jamaica. It also projects rainfall totals over 1,500 millimeters across southern Haiti and more than 300 millimeters over the Dominican Republic. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there is extreme uncertainty, just as noted by the National Hurricane Center, regarding this cyclone's forecast. Everything seems to depend on what happens during the next 48 hours. For example, if the system strengthens faster than anticipated, perhaps reaching hurricane strength by Saturday, it would likely follow a slightly more eastern track, representing the worst-case scenario for the Dominican Republic and Haiti. This is the solution favored by the German and American models. However, if the system remains a tropical storm during the next 48 hours, it could move farther west, passing just south of Jamaica, where it could then strengthen into a Category 4 or 5 hurricane with devastating effects for Jamaica and eventually for Cuba and the Bahamas. So, with patience, we will continue to monitor its progress. Jamaica should prepare to face a hurricane by the weekend, as should Haiti, while the Dominican Republic must prepare for persistent, extreme rainfall over the next 7 days. Eastern Cuba should also stay alert in case the system moves through that region, as well as the southern Bahamas. Here at Hurricane Info, I will continue closely monitoring the cyclone's evolution. I'll record an update later this afternoon. To make sure you don't miss it, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon to receive notifications when new videos are posted. I hope that our followers in the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, and Jamaica are preparing for this event. See you next time.